Um, you and I kind of like discussed this, I think sometime last year, but we didn't actually get to it properly. Have we reached 1,000 hours? Like, have we reached the level of like we're experts in this and we're allowed to like give people takes on TV? Like, are we really 1,000 hours of watching TV?
I think you mean 10,000 hours.
10,000, sorry, 10,000.
Maybe over Christmas. I watched a bunch of TV over Christmas.
Oh, you think you just kind of hit the mark?
I think I might have just hit it.
Let's do the math before the next episode.
Okay.
Of like how many episodes of TV you kind of have to have reached to know if we're experts in like. So let's do from not when we're watching Charmed at like 7, but like from when we're actually thinking about themes.
That's ridiculous because I then went to rewatch Charmed.
Yeah, okay, that counts. I mean, don't count things that you're watching before, like when you're watching TV and thinking about themes and stuff like that. So
okay, so I shouldn't count Smallville.
No, unless you watched it like in that period, which I know you didn't.
I didn't.
Yeah. So let's say post 2013, 2014.
No, because I think before I'll count things before that.
You are not watching TV intently in Loyola.
Not in Loyola, but I graduated in 2010, Bankole.
You did go in 2010. Damn.
What are you talking about?
Damn. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. I was reading reviews by 2011.
You ready to get into industry episode 4?
Yeah.
Hello and welcome back to the Popcorn for Dinner podcast. Tiresome podcast equipment be damned. I'm Bankole Eyo, and today we're getting into the anxiety-riddled and 7 Stages of Hell episode of Industry Season 4. And on this episode, promising to take half the load off me, it's Eyo in there. Hey, how are you doing? I could see you try to. What were you trying to do your mouth just stuff?
Leave me alone, man. You don't want to give me half? You think I'm worth the full load? Who gets the other half?
William, because William is coming off later in this episode.
Okay, fair.
Oh God, man, Whitney Halberstram. How are you doing? How's the last week been?
Hectic.
Have you engaged in the industry post-season 3 discourse?
What? What's the discourse?
No, not. I just realized how that sounded. No, not like a big deal. I just feel like people watching the sex scene and like there's not like a big discourse. Although though, I had a friend and I've seen some other people kind of like reach out of echo similar thoughts I had with like my issues with the episode.
Fair.
And kind of like the Harper scene in particular. And then we'll get into some other comments that we got this episode. Like, yeah, I think some people kind of said those statements better than I could. Or like my issues with like the Harper scene and like the way she arrived at that unloading on Eric. But I think like the summary is just that like I think the summary of it is that like the show is requiring us to like, there's a history of the show. We have a history with the show, so it's like there's a shorthand. We're like, okay, this is Harper. You already know these things, so just kind of buy where she is right now. I don't think like in this particular scenario, the work was laid to this particular
to get
like you
there.
said, to get there.
Yeah.
But I think because we know this character and we kind of know how ups and downs, it's easier to kind of like make sense of it. But it did kind of brush off against me. But that's all. We're here to go episode 4. As I just alluded to, William is going to be joining us later this episode to talk about the last 10 minutes of chaos.
The Rishi of it all.
In this episode. William spoke with Sagar for this episode, and he also spoke with Max Migela, who plays Whitney. So I will link both interviews in this description wherever you're watching or listening to this. But before all of that, just quickly admin, as hopefully you guys normally you don't know, if you're new to our industry coverage, we are over Leveraged on Industry. Every weekend we have a trading desk episode which kind of previews the upcoming episode for that Sunday, but also like speaks about the last episode with insights from interviews, Twitter discourse, opinions, all of that stuff. Remember, we don't really have this kind of advantages when we're doing this episode because we're recording a bit in advance. We're also over leveraged on HBO. Right now, we're doing In Night of the Seven Kingdoms as well. Hey, what do you want to say? Do you have,
Just like,
feel
when
like
aren't you over there? Oh, well,
to be
okay.
fair, we only did one HBO show last year.
Really?
Only White Lotus. I was thinking about it. So because we didn't
What
do
else
Task.
came out? Okay.
Task. But it was a pretty low year for HBO, that was the thing, because there was no House of the Dragon.
Does
and
HBO
there was
Max count?
Yeah, but we didn't I mean,
do
we
any
spoke about
matches?
Hacks, but we did like one episode on Hacks.
You didn't do the Pit?
We didn't do the Pit.
Are you gonna do the Pit this year?
I don't think anybody on the team watches the Pit.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. I've told you that I don't watch. I've never watched the medical show, I realized. And it's not like Doogie Howser MD is the only medical show I've ever watched. And it's like, it's not intentional choice. I just realized, I just never watched medical shows. Yeah, so we're doing Night of Seven Kingdoms. Please check that out. It's really kind of fun and cute and charming show. Have you started this year?
No, not yet.
Okay, it's only 6 episodes, 30 minutes per episode. So it's like a really good thing. And yeah, and then hopefully later this week, the Fallout finale. We are not getting the screeners as you may expect. So the episode will be out a bit later. In case you're like the two people who watch Industry and Fallout. Okay, so let's go into this episode. We have quite a bit to cover. Yeah, you're one of the two. As always, we want to start with kind of like our YouTube stroke Spotify comments stroke questions. There are some that I will bring up as we go on in this episode. But the first one is from Natasha Wobo on Spotify. I just assumed that's her name. Actually, I just realized that I'm not 100% sure that that's her name, but she
also,
says that
you've gendered the person.
I also did gender the person. You know what? I do just a general blanket sort of I apologize. Yeah, I do.
Double unwoke.
Yeah, very not woke of me.
Very
Jesus,
Otto Mustard of you. Yeah.
Is this how we get cancelled? This is how we get cancelled. Natasha cancels us. She again. They say that they believe it's Harper leaked Sweet Pea's siren content. That was my reaction too.
Oh my God. Oh.
And I mean, obviously we'll see if that is revealed in this season, but it would be like, Harper, there is no return for you. Like,
but like why? Like, in a bid to do what?
But so the argument is obviously before they were going to short Siren, they would have done months of research, and it's a bid to kind of reduce Siren stocks after they had shorted them. But I guess it doesn't really work out because the leak happened before the shorts.
Yeah.
So it would make more sense for the leak to happen after the shorts.
Because I was like, would she do it so that Sweet Pea is unhireable, so that Sweet Pea has to work for her?
That just seems...
But Sweet Pea already wanted to work for her, so...
Yeah. It's just something I wanted to see your reaction. I don't think that's the case. I don't love that. But yeah, but like that's a lot. Okay, so there's a long comment I think it's from YouTube, I want to kind of get into. It's from One Ring to Rule Them All. They say the threesome scene is going to get a lot of shock factor, but also is important to show how this episode sets up the relationship of Mock and Yasmin post episode 2. The theme of her essentially being his caretaker is going to continue as he still clearly has no real power. I truly think he did not want to really get with Haley. It didn't seem like it was something he was even considering. I think that's why Yasmin is the one we see interact with Haley in episode 2 to show how she's the conductor of this orchestra. And I actually think the threesome scene is the first time we see Mock directly interact with Haley, which is actually true. But now he's going to be acted as is his nature. Then Yasmin is such a tragic character. I think her disgust is realizing she's slipping into the Anani cycle, but she's her own worst enemy. She finally became super self-aware near the end of last season when she was forced to actually confront her life with all the stuff that happened. But partially as a result of all that stuff, she's now in the same position to repeat the cycle. 2 really tragic characters, her and Mock. Also, Kit Harington has been absolutely unreal this season. Pretty much everyone in this show is an insane actor, and now he feels on their level. I would say on that same note, Kian and Shipka kind of out like a sore thumb as a bit of a weak link this episode. Don't think it was all her fault though, but the character felt hollow in this one. I wonder if they feel the same way after episode 4.
After this episode,
that last comment about Kian and Shipka. I don't think they will, but so I just picked up some things I want to discuss from this comment because it's a big and loaded comment. But I like the thing they said, the theme of Yasmin being Mock's caretaker. as he has no willpower. But I do think there's an argument to be made that in this episode, he switches caretakers.
Yeah, and we'll get to that.
Yeah,
It's
we will get to
interesting
that.
because I don't think you can be both in need of a caretaker. I guess maybe you can be in need of a caretaker. Because for me, caretaker stops being what that is. Like a caretaker is if you are unable to do anything, right? Like anything. Like you can't even be directed. So you need somebody to just, hey, okay, like guard you and make sure you don't kill yourself, which is, I think, her role in episode 2. I think now he's a puppet. He's a willing puppet for Yasmin.
So,
I think it stops.
Is that enabler? That's not enabler, is it?
Kind of a little bit enabling. I think there's a bit of the enabling thing, and we can get into that when we get to the scene. But
yeah,
I think just in general, from episodes 3 and further in this episode, I think I think Mark is looking for people to just say, hey, this is what you should go after. And this is how you should go after it. I don't think he has an idea for the direction anymore. I think he knows what the outcome that he wants is, which he didn't when people were having to take care of him. But now I think he's just like, you know what? Put your hand on my butt. Like,
guide me.
Show me.
Like, yeah, he doesn't. Yeah. I will talk about this when we get to the scene as well. I thought it was very pointed that she asks him, "Do you believe in this company?"
Yeah.
And he swats it away. He just feels like he talks about something else completely. There's another comment regarding Yaz and Whitney, and he said, "This is from, I think, YouTube as well, at Rene A-Q6N. Just gonna assume that that's like an automatic handle and not some like code I'm missing. It looks as if Yaz and Whitney will be the downfall of Henry." Yaz arranging the act between Henry and Haley is a sure way to make Henry remain unstable. It will only hurt him, and as the new CEO, he'll be unstable. As for Whitney, he's hiding some very serious information that will hurt Henry in the long run. Haley also intentionally went to their bedroom at night and has a plan in mind. Maybe she wants Yaz and will do anything to get close to her. We'll talk about the last bit when we get to Haley and Yasmin later. Yeah, okay, let's talk about this episode. It is episode 4 from season 4. It's titled 1000 Youths, 1 Marilyn. It's written by Mickey Down and Conrad Kane, directed by Michelle Saville, who directed episode 3. I've never seen Youth spelled like this. That was like, is that how you've seen it spelled?
I've seen both.
Yeah, I've only seen the YU. I was like, wait, is this it? Yeah. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to try and I tried to figure out how to discuss this episode in like a structured manner and I couldn't figure it out. So I want to just kind of go beat by beat. We'll just go through the episode and we'll talk about it as we kind of go on. It starts with the James Dyker cold open.
Well, Jimmy Dyker, man.
Where he has a great, I don't know if it's great, he has an episode. We kind of get some things from this cold open. He's paranoid. But also, as we know, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean that they're not after you. He's part of the Deadbeat Dad Club. Speaking of season long themes.
A big part. He's like a huge... He might be their mascot. He's the chairman.
Well, yeah, I mean, the problem is that all the deadbeat dads are pretty bad.
Pretty
like
deadbeat.
In this season, like Eric, Rishi. If anything, I think he's the youngest out of all of them. Like, obviously, Eric has been there for almost 15, 16 years. Rishi, at least 2-3 years. He's possibly an addict. We get that implication from the cold open. And his boss is a Brentford fan. So, I mean,
up the bees, man.
Good season for his boss. Is there anything you want to talk about this kind of cold open? And then we'll just move on.
He's into ethnic cows.
He
is. He likes them a little cultured. I like that.
Maybe he has different reasons for wanting to go to Accra.
I like that. It's true.
What then follows is the coolest exposition montage you're going to see on TV this year. I was going to message you, because the thing is that we don't talk between episodes before recording. I was going to message you and just be like, I'm having so much fun 5 minutes in. But like, once they start the montage, it's like,
it's
and
so
everybody
good.
still wants to argue that they're not hearing 9-inch nails. That's your business. I am hearing 9-inch nails. So, and that's the biggest compliment I can give it. Yeah, in the montage, Daika can feel the heat around the corner, so he goes stern towel. Henry, Yaz, and Robin are working on the Tender app and taking unnecessary shots at podcasters. That was okay. We can't comment.
Deserved.
Yeah, I mean it's deserved here, but it's
Deserved.
like the guy said, except.
I don't know,
Imagine.
man. No, I agree. I agree. I'm on this podcast, my friend. I agree with them. There should be
Oh,
a
look!
tariff.
I've said it 100%. Like, if they want to take all podcast bros mics, I'll be first in line. Like, I will keep up mine for the greater good. Williamina gets the hero shot.
Oh my
Just
there was a
for
little bit of
Tender.
a scream from me, I'm not gonna lie. When she pops
I
up.
don't understand
Because at first
how
I'm like
this-
watching them they're talking about the Tender app and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
why is it Pierpoint powered by Tender? And I was like, yeah, that doesn't make sense. But I was like,
Me
oh,
too.
Pierpoint mentioned. Next scene, full on Pierpoint and Mirage were here. I was like, oh,
How does this show? Is it because we just love this show so much? Because like Williamina was in like 3 episodes last season, 4. She was in 4 episodes last season. It's not as if she's like been here since season 1. So like, how does it still get that kind of reaction?
it's because we've left there, right? It's because we're no longer there. So this is like a blast to, not like a blast from the past,
nostalgia?
but like it's nostalgia. It's just it reminds us of like a comfortable place that we were.
Comfortable is a stretch of the word, but yeah.
You know what I mean.
She gets the hero shot just for Tender to ask Pierpoint for an extra 1
billion.
billion. What currency do they use? Is this pounds, dollars? Like in a situation like what currency are they using?
Interesting. It'll probably be pounds since they're UK based, but I don't know.
Because everything's an American, like Tender's American, Pierpoint's American-ish. So I wasn't sure. Then Yasmin and Whitney have a very economical scene that I believe can double as a masterclass in TV writing.
Look,
Let me just kind of break down what they discuss in like 3-4 minutes of screen time. They talk about inventorizing the app launch. They talk about Henry's role and he's slowly returning confidence. They talk about a promotion for Haley, which has one of the best lines of the episode, bright young things attract bright young things. They talk about Harper and Eric being short on Tender. And then you get you can see like Yasmin's whole history with Eric and Harper, like all of that. They talk about the Web Horizon event for the app launch. That's 5 like major talking points they're doing like 3 minutes. Like, I was just like, this is just such efficient writing. And do
you know why it works?
Mm-hmm.
Because Yasmin and Whitney speak the same language.
What language is that?
They're puppeteers. They speak the same language. They orchestrate things.
They don't have to use, they have a shorthand. They don't have to use the full.
Yeah.
They can just kind of go into like there's a shared, not history, but a shared occupation, a shared role.
Yeah, there's a shared role that they
There's what is unsaid between them is basically said. Like
bright young things are attract bright young things. And then, like she knows what he means.
What do you think he meant when he said? Because every time I've watched the episode, I've got a different kind of
different take,
it.
right? I think my final take, because I've actually watched this 3 times, is, and this is kind of informed by what he says later. But you're just like, yeah. I think it's like, not that he doesn't rate Yasmin, but I think in that moment he was like, yeah, Haley, what do you see in her? In the same way, I think he's subtly asking Yasmin, what do you think Henry sees in you?
Oh, interesting.
Like what's the value that you think you're bringing to this, right?
So
and then I think for the rest of the episode, Yasmin is proving that value. Like, are you just a pretty face that can, you can move in these rooms, kind of like Haley, right? Or can you do stuff?
So your read of Bright was more in terms of shiny.
Yeah.
Than, okay. I read it more as like smart.
Interesting. Okay.
So like, because the first time I thought it was a bit condescending to Yasmin.
That's what I thought the first time.
The times I watched it later, I was like, oh, actually, no, especially with Yasmin's reaction, I thought, oh, no, it's a compliment to Yasmin that she's like a bright. So I didn't think, I mean, there was still part of the shiny but I also went for like the smart, like a good, smart, young thing. And like she's been attracted by, or she's attracting Haley, who's also similarly smart and
proof of that.
Sorry?
So we don't have proof of that.
Well, I mean, the proof is that she's still she's still Whit's assistant.
Mm.
And like he wouldn't keep her on and give her so much responsibility if he thought
If she wasn't. Yeah, fair.
she wasn't good at her job. I don't know if Carl Penn has a lot more to do this season, but if they brought him on simply so he could talk finance and shit talk his ex-best friend while getting a lap dance from a stripper, then it would have been worth it. That's fine.
Look, first of all, Sweet Peas, he is replying.
Yeah.
Hats off. Great.
Did you catch Harper's like very tiny smile right before they cut? It's like half a second and then they cut the scene. Like she's almost like, oh yeah, well done. Like, well
she's
done.
proud. Yeah. I love that Jonah scene, first of all, because first thing,
so good.
3 wristbands. Man has been to at least 2 other clubs that night. He's out. Secondly, is this the first case of like remote sex position?
Explain what you mean by those 3 words put together.
So sex position, right? That's the whole HBO. Tyrion is going to explain something while
having to,
they're knacking. Yeah.
Sex position. I had sex positions. I was very confused, but yeah, sex position makes sense.
Position.
Okay,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the first time we've seen that kind of thing happen? But but the person that they're talking to is just not there. It's just on the phone in the strip club.
Yes,
because I'm thinking back to like Sopranos, and like most of the time they're the people they're talking to are there.
It's also funny because CP is also doing her own. She's also performing her own sexual act.
Oh, like, yeah. I mean,
yeah, but like, it's very, but like, because the idea is like she has warmed him up, and now she's trying to get information from him. So she's trying to do your own basic version of sex position that they normally do.
Okay, I guess so.
By the way, she ends by saying, "I hope I brought you."
Like, it's some pleasure. Yeah,
it's not great. Yeah. It's not. She's not doing a great job of it. But like, that's what she. But then also, I get what you mean, and
it's fully
yeah, it's excellent. I think
I thought it was so good.
The final, first of all, I think his drunk acting is. I always kind of praise drunk acting, but like, there's some things that happen. Like, there's this section where he's trying to drink from his drink and he misses the straw. And you can kind of see him kind of like drunkenly go back. I'm like, that's just like, you don't practice that in the mirror. It's just something that happens when you're in character.
Not in the script.
In the moment. But that final shot when he's like talking to Sweet Pea, but he's staring directly at the stripper, like in her eyes, and he's like, if you do this, you bury him. And I like
bury his kind.
Bro, I was like, oh my God, like, he doesn't stop doing what he's doing. He's still in it, but at the same time, he's like still has all the anger and vengeance. And I was just like, this is actually just really good. Okay, I'm going to talk about notes in a second, but Henry and Yasmin have another. I guess maybe this is where it transitions from what enabler to just plain puppet, and he's willing because he accuses Yasmin of like making him the worst part of himself, chasing the most egotistical
part of himself. Yeah,
and Yasmin's like, "Hey, that's just marriage, babe." Like she's just like, if not,
that's the only way to make things happen, Bob.
It's genuinely like a line of dialogue from Gone Girl. It's like what Nick would tell Amy, and Amy would be like,
I love that. Yes.
Amy would be like, that just gets my head now. Like, Amy would be like, that's marriage. And like, and his smile again is almost like, okay, in my head, that can be where he goes from being a willing puppet, in your words, where he's like, okay.
He's down for the ride then.
Yeah, she's right. I wouldn't get anything done if I wasn't being hounded like this. Moritz. This was, in this scene, I did start to think, was Eyo correct about this coming back?
Real TV brains.
Is there any other reason for them to bring this up again?
That nigga is coming. He's going to be Nigel Farage. Moritz is going to take over.
Just for anyone who doesn't have subtitles on or whatever, Norton says that Moritz wrote a piece called in defense of your
You're
sanguinis.
sanguinis. Yeah.
And for anyone who doesn't know, who had to call it like I did, this is the idea of getting citizenship only through your lineage, right? And not because you were born somewhere.
By blood.
So, yeah, pure Aryan blood.
He said only pure bloods will get this passport.
And Norton said, that was even a lot, even for me. Norton said, I'm peddling all these papers and this trash. But like, that was like, even for me, that was a lot. Robin continues his Hall of Shame performance.
This guy's so
this
bad at his
episode.
job, man.
I genuinely have to
bad
know that he's so bad at his job.
So bad at his job. Which is crazy because, like, how you bad at your job next to Yasmin, who famously one of the worst at her job at Pinpoint of all time.
But then this is where she was made to be.
No, this is where she thrives.
This is where she was made to be, right?
But it's crazy. He's so bad at his job. So
like,
job.
But I also think he is doing his job like a normal person.
Yes.
And he's not dealing with normal people or in a normal company. He hasn't realized that yet.
And that's why he's bad at his job, because he should know.
Yeah, true. Especially if you're doing PR, a marketing, like you should know who you're dealing with.
Know.
Yeah, and Mickey and Conrad can use this speakerphone trick as long as they want, and I'll take it every time.
It worked.
Like every time, it would just kind of work for me.
It worked. Whitney wouldn't. I'm not sure Whitney would like that. I would. Don't speak for me, Robin. Fuck me, man. Sorry. Jeez. What?
And I think we haven't seen Norton, like most of what we've seen Norton has been like the whole familial thing, right? We haven't really seen, it's been a while since we saw Norton like in his element.
Well, with Devon in episode 2, when they had their little back and forth.
True. I forgot about that. That was overshadowed by everything else that was going on.
Everything else that happened. Yeah, that's fair.
But you can kind of see why he's the guy. Like you can see his brain moving. He's like, well, when are we not talking about this? Like, what makes this news special? You can see kind of like why he became as successful as he is. And then Yasmin and Whit have a meeting about Robin. And she calls Robin a little bitch. And I was just like,
no, that was at the end of the call, right? Like when Robin leaves. Yeah. And then he was like, stay. And then like,
yeah. Like, stay, Robin, you're not there anymore.
He's a little bitch. He is a little bitch. He is.
I don't know. He thought he just thought like Jonah was like a bad CEO. He didn't realize that Whitney was an evil person and like they're gonna be doing like evil shit. Like,
what is Whit's role?
I always thought he was CFO.
I thought he was CFO too. But then in this episode, we learn from the Jonah emails that Tony is the CFO, the white man.
No, but he's CFO in Africa though. He's not CFO.
Oh, okay. So maybe they have.
Yeah, there's no way Tony Day is CFO of like, because then with Jonah would have to know him.
That's fair.
So I think in my head, and this is, I don't know if there are actual real terms for this, but in my head, Whit is like CFO of Tender, but is like head of expansion into Africa.
Okay.
And Tony Day is his right-hand man, CFO, whatever, like
for the Africa Tender Holdings.
Yeah. So like maybe if there's Tender Africa, maybe Whit is CEO of that. Anthony Davis. I don't know how you get what I'm trying to say, but like I don't know the real demarcations, but yeah, that was kind of my read on it. Actually, there's some other things in that Jonah section, not from the emails, but from what he was saying to Sweet Peter. I kind of want to touch on when we get to Whit later. Actually, let's do it now because Eyo, you are more, I am less. You're a man I'm incapable of lying to.
Don't say that. That makes me feel icky.
That's not the reaction Harry had.
That makes me feel
Harry
icky.
Was like, please say that.
Yeah, because he believes it. You're sanguineous by blood. He is more. He is more.
Can I throw you a hot take, a swerve ball?
I'm here. I'll catch it.
I don't think Whitney was completely lying.
I don't. No. 100%. I think he believes it. I think he believes it. A
Okay.
little bit, at least. I think
Yeah, a
he
little bit.
understands, and I think he talks about it, about the what was the word he used? The fascism of his
Yeah.
psychology. Yeah. I think he does know that there is a part of him that does believe that Henry is his better.
Yeah. And I think he had it for Jonah too when he first met Jonah.
Ah,
Because remember what he said, he grew up poor. He had this chip on the shoulder. He's like Harper.
yeah,
Like he grew up striving, right? And he gets to, was it Stanford?
yeah,
Yeah, and Jonah is probably someone that was already smart, but was already rich as well.
yeah.
So he's like there's a chasing, there, there's a striving there that he's
I
like he
see.
sees this person, and no matter how hard he pushes it down because he's a crazy evil person, part of him still be like, this guy is better than me, and like I want to be their friend, I want to be in their orbit, I want to like please them.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's still something there. I think he's weaponizing it in this instance and he's exaggerating it
A
for
little bit,
Henry, yeah.
yeah.
But I was like, this is not a completely made up
That's
lie.
not.
There's
It's not
something here.
just a lie. Yeah,
Hmm.
there's some truth there.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. But
Yeah, okay.
that scene comes after. Actually, no. It is after he's spoken to Yasmin already.
The first time in the office.
The first
Yeah.
time in the
This is the
office,
next
right?
day.
So
He's spoken
Yasmin
to
has
Yasmin,
already
gone to
said,
Accra.
okay, these are the things I think you should do. This is like, if you believe it, they'll believe it.
Oh, you meant Henry. Henry spoken to Yasmin.
Henry, yes, Henry's
Yeah,
spoken
yeah,
to
yeah,
Yasmin.
yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
it's
So
happened before.
she's told him that,
Mm-hmm.
and then Whit comes and says, just tell them your conscience. Which, honestly, and maybe I don't understand the words. Frankly, they feel like the same advice to me.
I don't think they're not. I think that's the point.
Okay, because then my next question from there is, what happens is, because also a little bitch, Henry Mark,
Mm-hmm.
because he's also a little bitch, he starts getting cold feet because
Mm-hmm.
before he goes out. Lisa Dan cuts him down again. Love her. She would never not take an opportunity to stab that boy. Cuts him down. So he begins to feel like a little boy again. Goes to mommy, Yasmin, like, help me. I want to take drugs. And Yasmin was like, no, don't. And then sees her future. And then maybe you can. Maybe you can stay some drugs. Her future flashes in front of her eyes. It's like, if this guy fucks this up, we might be done.
Yeah.
So she's like, maybe you should take drugs. And then he's like, what? Are you an enabler? You're meant to tell me no. And then goes out on stage.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, the conscious word triggers him like a like a sleeper agent. And then he gives what, honestly, I was a little bit inspired.
Uh-huh.
It was an inspiring speech. Gives a great inspiring speech. Comes back, pushes Yasmin out the way, and goes to hug Whitney. Okay, and my question is this. Frankly, they gave him the same advice. They both told him the
Uh-huh.
same thing. Why do Whitney's own hit?
He's choosing who he wants to control him.
Why?
It's, why maybe he's trying to push back on Yasmin. He's trying to assert his independence, especially
Okay.
what happened in episode 3.
Okay.
And the end of episode 3 where he's like, who did I marry? He's like, don't go talking to Naughty. And then even in this episode where he's like, why are you guys conniving behind my back?
Yeah, you and Whitney are
like
colluding.
So I think by pushing against Yasmin, he wants to assert his independence from her. But at the same time, because he's a little bitch, he needs to have a puppeteer.
He needs to have somebody's hand up his butt.
Yeah, so he's lying to him so that this is a partnership and this is the person he should actually listen to because this is actually his real partner in the company. So maybe that's how he's lying to himself, right? But we know he's just like, and again, maybe there's an attraction there, which we'll talk about in a second.
It's just hard. It's hard for him.
Yeah,
they're hard for each other.
Was
it episode 2? Was it episode 2 where I said where I said before episode 6, I think they sleep together?
I think well, and then we also did the Haley and Yasmin and all of that stuff.
Look, all I'm saying is I think I'm 3 for 3 so far. We'll see. We'll see where this lands. But
my take from that before actually let me finish your question. So no, I do think I think he's choosing who he wants to, because like you're not wrong. It's the same advice.
Yeah.
In different words, a different packaging. But like Yasmin literally says, you see what happens when you do what I say.
Yeah.
Because in her head.
And then she
bro.
I was so surprised by that push. Bro, get out of the way.
My mouth. I genuinely my mouth drops twice in this episode. Well, 3 times if you count the last 10 minutes.
to take the note. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
It's
It
okay.
was right
Just
there.
like it's a PG podcast for a
Sorry.
very not PG show.
Sorry.
Like, no, yeah, I wanted the first time. No, it wasn't. This was the second time he dropped. Was when he pushes out of the way, because like he doesn't like avoid it, doesn't avoid, doesn't evade
Yeah.
it, doesn't work. He just pushes her, and I've watched that scene so many times. Like he's looking at her when he's coming off stage.
You
So
see
he
what
knows
happens when
she's
you do
there.
what I say? Okay. Next beat actually is her face when
Mhm,
he's hugging Whit and just rubbing up on his body.
mhm.
What do you think she's thinking in that moment?
I think she is confused. She's worried. She is
Turned on.
scared. I was going to say turn down, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think the the scale of the downside
It's too heavy.
is too high for her to be
Yeah,
turned on.
that's fair. That's fair.
Because if this is actually what she thinks, she's going to lose. Again, you said her future flashed before
Her
her
future,
eyes.
her future.
You can't be turned on in hell. It's just like there's like just it's too hot. There's too much going on for you to be turned on right now. So
Fair.
I think, um, and I think obviously this is coming off her seeing them again, being caught like people like just like it's like
Like in real life, they catch you with your babe, man.
I have two takes on this
That's
scene when she
exactly what
catches
it
them
was like.
after. And again, like the show is like setting, it's filmmaking, so it's setting it up that like the scene starts with him doing push-ups. Like that is for a reason.
He
He's
looked good.
not he's not fully clothed. That's
He
for
looked
a
good.
reason. Like the show is alluding to the sexual
Banky, can you
intonations
do
and
those kinds of
connotations.
push-ups?
I
If
can,
you had his
not a lot.
knuckles,
Knuckles,
how
I
many do you
can,
think
but
you do?
I'm not going to say that on air. Like how many knuckle push-ups I can do. Like
I think when we get to our bets at the end of the episode, I think
uh-huh.
the forfeit should be knuckle push-ups.
Okay, but camera record, whatever.
Of
We'll
course,
discuss this.
recorded. Oh, we'll just do audio only push-up.
Your
So,
entire thing is just your.
what are you doing?
I feel like your entire MO on this podcast is to, I don't know if it's to embarrass me or to like, or maybe you know what, sex sells. Maybe you think that would
Yeah. Back,
do
I think
well
you're
for
really
the
sexy. You're
podcast.
like the sexiest version of Young Musa. So I want everybody to know.
Speaking of Bradford, you see how I didn't laugh at that joke?
Drop the piece.
What was I saying? Yeah, my two takes from that scene are, whenever a man or somebody takes their hand off somebody else like that, it infinitely makes the scene a lot more problematic than it was before.
Well, he didn't have to. He actually didn't have to.
to.
And then he puts his hands behind his back.
Like we're caught in boarding school doing something wrong. Like
Literally.
generally, if you leave your hand on Henry, that could be like a friendly thing.
Yeah.
But the
Like
moment you remove it,
you're consoling him, you're picking him up.
the moment you remove it, it's just you've been caught red-handed. Also, I was just like, can the four of them just go have their force and stop disturbing us with this thing? Like, stop disturbing us, please. Just go do what you're doing.
I'd watch.
My other take about the speech is that the teleprompter says we have put our conscience at the center of what we do here.
Yes.
And he says we have put our conscience at the
At the
heart
heart.
of what we do here. And I just feel like that says something. Like it's like, and that's what obviously, like you said, that's what triggers him into kind of going into the conscience thing. And everybody seems to buy it. Another reason why I knew Robin was bad for this job, because Robin, everybody else can see that this is working. Everybody's like, do you think this is going to work?
I was like, bro, are you sick? He said laying on a bit thick. I was like, bro, what are you talking about?
And like there's a point where the camera kind of like pans from Yasmin looking proud, and then Robin, his head is down, and then Whitney is looking funny, like, oh, you're clearly the odd one out in the situation.
Such an idiot.
He did not know what was going on.
Reminded me of a scene from The West Wing.
What was the scene?
Where the speechwriter, he's watching the president give a speech that he's written, and then the president starts to riff, and then he was like, you're fucking it up.
But he wasn't.
He was not really. But like the rest of the speech was really good, so I
Yeah.
get it.
Do you have anything else about this, Henry? Should we talk about the end? Let's just skip
Let's
it
go to
again.
the
Let's
end.
talk about the
Yes.
end scene. What was your read on that?
I don't have it. I think is there more to read there?
I mean,
What
I
did you
think
think?
my thing is just like is the final thing, right? Is like Whitney. Actually, before I get there, what did you think of Whitney's facial reaction when Yasmin is looking at them after the speech? Because you asked me what I thought about Yasmin's reactions.
Yeah.
What do you think about Whitney?
I think he knows he's winning,
Mm-hmm. But he doesn't want to like
but
rub it in.
he doesn't want to like put it in her face, because at the end of the episode, when he gives Yaz the job and makes her fire Robin, in honestly what might be my favorite scene in this episode.
Yeah.
It might be my favorite scene in this episode, when he goes, the three of us. So I think he still recognizes that he needs her on side.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I don't think he can do for Henry what Yasmin can.
Yes.
And I think he recognizes that.
But behind the scenes, in that final scene, he's pushing out Yasmin.
Yeah. He wants to be the lead puppeteer.
Yeah. Now that he knows that he's got, this is my read on that scene. Now that he knows that he's got Henry,
Yeah.
he's like, can I speak candidly? Can I speak out of turn? Whatever it says, out of
Out of
school.
school.
And then he pushes out here. And he knows that Henry's about to receive it. Henry's like, if you're going to insult my wife, I hope you just come out and say it.
Stop
So,
going through the corners.
yeah,
Talk to me direct.
good direct. So that was kind of my read on that. I'm intrigued to kind of see this this Yasmin Henry Whitney triangle.
The
Again,
threesome.
Robin, man, when they tell you you're about to be fired, unless you don't want the job, like he literally says, if you can't work with her, you'll be fired. And he's like, I can't work with her. And it's like, okay, well, you're fired. Like Yasmin tries to keep it in the job. I'm just like, so in that case, when she fires you, don't be surprised. Like, what's wrong with you?
Google the Dunning-Kruger theories for okay.
This is nice startup. Like, okay, sure.
It's like a big try for what we want to do here, bro. Yeah, asking them to Google theories. We're doing crimes. We're doing crimes. What are you doing?
You're writing up speeches on the legal tennis. Let's talk about Dyker getting fired.
Oh, little Jimmy Dyker, man.
I think we'll talk about Dyker a bit more when William's here about the final scenes. But like, yeah, him being fired, his stupidity catches up with him.
Comes out that he's a drug dealer. Sorry, not drug dealer, drug
user.
Eric also gets some shots. What?
Yes. Also, the choice of picture for Eric, like
so good.
Kind of one of his lowest professional moments. Like it's like, just quickly, because I think we might talk about it when William is here. But I thought it was interesting that like during the Rishi scene, he basically admits to going down on Haley.
Yeah, he did say that he was doing that.
Yeah,
and then
which kind of doesn't correlate with what we saw, because when she wakes up with her trousers on.
Well, one button is loose, isn't it?
Oh, okay. I guess you could do things when you have like. Yeah,
I probably just pulled it down a little bit. Then
fair.
when he realized she was asleep, put it back up. But yeah, I mean, I think we said in the first episode, it's a criminal.
Yeah,
like you followed a journalistic target to their house under false pretenses. Look,
there's no excusing what
it's not, yeah, man. Like
you should have been fired. Yeah,
they're gonna get you eventually. That whole thing, though, I think was a bit of a masterclass from Yasmin. Just stitched everything together. We're gonna take down everybody in one fell swoop.
And also the fact that like Whitney had the picture, like it's just like, again, just because you're a partner does not mean that they're not after you.
They're not watching you. Yeah.
I want to talk about Yasmin and Haley.
Makes sense.
To kind of wrap up our section before William gets in. Unless there's anything about like the Harper, Sweet Pea, Tony Day you want to touch on?
I think Sweet Pea is the brains of Stentar right now.
I think she's always been the brains. Like,
well, she wasn't there before, but now
I mean, like she was the brains of PM Poet last season.
I love Sweetie
Like,
so much. I love Sweetie so much. She's so good.
one way or another, somebody has to go to Accra because, like, they promised, what's his name, Daika.
Lord Jimmy Daika.
He was like, then his boss was like, no. He's like, okay, I'll buy my ticket myself. I'll self-publish. So, like, somebody has to go to Accra at some point. Yasmin and Haley. So there are 2 scenes
Mhm.
with Yasmin and Haley this season, this episode, and obviously there's little things of like Yasmin's conversations with Whitney.
Oblique mentions, yeah.
I want to start with a couple of comments we received about Yasmin and Haley. I couldn't find the first one when I was making my notes, so I do apologize to the person who sent it. But they're basically suggesting that Whitney had sent Haley to infiltrate Yasmin and Mock.
Mm.
And if this was 1 season ago, I would have said this is not that kind of show. But as we have realized, this show can be anything it wants to be. So it really does explain a lot, though, because we haven't talked about it. But like Whitney's reaction when Yasmin says, "Can we promote Haley?" and it's like he
Yeah.
almost feels self-pleased.
He's
And
like,
then him
oh,
say-
okay.
And then he's clearly alluding to the sex that he had.
Yeah,
Like, how
yeah,
else
that's
would
something
he
I
know
wanted to
that?
bring up. How else would he know? You're right.
How else would he know that?
How else would he
Like,
know? How else would he know? Oh, I
So-
love that.
when this comment first came, I don't think I'd watched episode 4. Maybe I had. I can't remember. But like after watching episode 4, I was like, that comment kind of works.
Okay. And that kind of changes what I was thinking.
I know it
A
does.
bit.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Tell me what you were thinking. And tell me how it changes it.
Okay, so going into the first scene with Yaz and Haley in this episode, where
Mhm.
Haley, they're walking at the back of the Web Horizon event. Haley says, "Hey, Lord Jimmy D is here," and Yasmin was like, "Let him watch,"
Mhm.
which I love.
Unless she remember that she has to be a human being. She's like,
yeah,
unless...
that's remembered. That's remembered. That's remembered. And then Haley makes she makes like that's an opening salvo. She's like, "Hey, y'all fucked me," and that was not professional. And then I was beginning to think, oh, is she's playing and she too has an angle here that she's pushing
Okay.
for. And I was like, oh, I didn't see that coming from her. So that was my initial thought. But thinking about this theory, it feels like, okay, fine. Maybe less everybody on this show has an angle that they're always playing all the time, and more, okay, you are an extension of Whitney's angle.
Yeah, but even if like she's an extension of Whitney, it doesn't really absolve her.
Not absolved, but like, I don't know.
So okay. So I remember what happened.
Because
Now.
I was just like, is everybody evil? Everybody's evil. Everybody has an angle.
Okay, so here's the thing. I remember what happened. I watched it the first time, then I saw the comments, then I on rewatch. First time I watched it, I thought it was like, I thought it was the opposite. I thought it was a genuine reaction from her. I thought it was like, oh, she's somebody who was, wait, now. I thought she was someone who was like, maybe going through something. And I thought the point of that scene was to show, because my second time my mouth dropped was when Yasmin starts doing it. Right, starts going, you're the one that instigated it.
You started it, Haley,
Like,
and you loved it.
Yeah, and I'm really trying to avoid doing the Succession comparisons because there are some already skipped this episode. But this is very, very much like Shiv at the end of season 2 when she goes to the whistleblower. It's just like, your child will be fine. But like, so, and I was like, so that was I thought that was part of the scene. The point of the scene was to show Yasmin going further into the dark side. But then with that comment and on a rewatch, I'm like, oh, this was all an act. This first introduction was all an act.
She's
Like, it was all
it's
an
an
act.
opening.
And I think,
It's the first serve.
now let's go to the lift.
Yeah.
Because I think it's only after Yasmin confirms that like she's getting promoted.
Yeah.
Which, on one hand, if Whitney did not send her, then it just means like Haley's plan is working. If Whitney did send her, then it's confirmation that like Whitney believes that she's doing the right thing. She's doing her job well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Whichever way, she's on the right path. Then the mask falls.
The mask does drop.
And I watched this episode, I think, twice or 3 times. And the first 2 times I heard, you're promoting me because you did rape me. I heard rape the first 2 times. So like, you hear rape, obviously you hear rape and then you're like, no, that's not, she said rape.
Said rape.
But like,
said
and I was
rape.
like, but like, if it works so well in the scene, Where you're like, oh,
Yeah.
you feel bad for what happened in
Yeah.
Austria, so you're promoting me, right?
And then she
And
says the thing where it's not like I've been sexually harassed before. And I was like, oh,
as a
does she
child
mean
model,
you?
um, yeah. So I was just like, whichever motivations are, whether it's personal or it's from Whitney, like I think the point still stands that she's in here. Me personally, I don't think being,
Being
I don't think she's
directed
an, yeah, directed by Whitney. I don't think it like, because again,
changes. Yeah. Yeah.
it,
I get what you mean. But
yeah,
honestly, Bankole, I'm looking for hope.
you're looking for hope. I don't think this
And
show is a show for
that
hope.
gives me a little bit of hope.
I don't think this
A
show is a
little
show
bit
for
of hope.
hope.
Because
Um,
at first, like when when she says thank you, mommy, actually, Keneshipka, nice one, nice one.
the curtsy.
Secondly, yeah, Kathy, very, very good, very good. Enjoyed it. Also, her saying mommy, and then we'll talk about this later, but then Rishi's female friend, Rishi
Mhm.
forcing her to say papi. I was like, what's going on?
It's like,
Don't love this. Stop it.
it's like, hey, look, we're not sex shaming. This is what people like. If it's
Stop
sex,
it.
I don't know what to say to you.
Stop it. Anywho, I was just a bit shocked. I was a bit shocked.
um, but just on the mommy puppy thing, another thing was when Yasmin hugs her and then kisses her forehead. I was like, oh my god, this is.
She's
I
so
was like, fair.
good.
This
She's
is
so
like
good.
you guys are like on track for doing it. It was just, yeah, and then in evidence for the Whitney thing is the fact that like when she goes to their room in Austria,
Mhm.
and then Yasmin is like, you could have sent this as an
You
email.
could have sent this as an email. And she's
So
right.
so it kind of then goes back then. I was just like, oh, it's just like Haley
Weasel her way
trying to
into
get
Yasmin's
into,
pants.
yeah, but
Yeah.
now it makes sense that like Whitney, if Whitney was like, hey, I kind of need control of this guy and I need
That's
you to kind
fair.
of find a way in.
And there's more
Um,
evidence because now we know Whitney's the kind of guy to do that.
yeah,
Like he was having Harper followed, sorry, no Jimmy Diker
Daika. Hmm.
followed. So yeah, he is conniving.
He is conniving. I don't think there's anything else to kind of.
No. One thing though, like an overall thought I had in this episode was this feels more like Euphoria than anything this show has done since season 1.
You're going to need to explain. You can just explain here.
I don't know. It felt really fast. It felt really loose, and then like super sexy.
Uh, uh, yeah, I'm not. I can't even join you on that bandwagon. I haven't.
I was just
As
like,
someone who
whoa,
still not watched
I'm
season 2
getting
of
love
Euphoria,
Euphoria vibes right now. But yeah.
um, it's so funny how like I think in that scene in the lift, I had to go back and Google like Marissa Bella and Kiana Shipka's ages
How
because
old are they?
so
Kineshipka is
26
what?
and 29.
26. Okay.
Okay. So, but because like I watched, I binged Mad Men towards the end, right? So you kind of watch Kiana Shipka grow up.
Yeah.
In my head, I thought she was like older than 26. I
21.
thought she was like 28. No,
Oh.
I thought she was older. I thought she was like around my age.
Oh.
So I was
Okay.
like, wait, if her and Marissa Bella are around the same age, this doesn't really work. And then I look, I'm like, oh, actually, no, it makes sense. Like, yeah, she's like 3 or 4 years younger than Yasmin. Um, anything you want to add before we invite William in to talk about Rishi?
Do you want to do odds?
Oh yeah, let's do that. Do you
Um,
have any overhead lines? I don't have any overhead lines this episode.
no.
Oh, yeah.
I think the only line I overheard was when the stripper comes to Jonah and says, "Hey baby, do you want a private dance?" But that was it. That was it.
I think that was part of the scene.
I think that was just a
Yeah.
line. That was not
It's
an
like,
overheard line. My favorite line of
uh,
the episode though was public stoning of hypocrites
mm-hmm.
is like
Makes us feel
bloodletting.
better. Yeah,
Loved.
Norton.
Loved. Okay, odds. I had this before you just said this thing about Haley, but
Mhm.
Haley turns out to be as big a villain as Whitney.
Not as big,
At
but a
least villain
villain.
number 2. That was my before this, but now I think they're probably just the same villain.
I know, come on, like this is Whitney's a terrible person. Let's like Whitney's
No,
not
no,
a
no.
human
I feel
being.
like Haley's an extension of
Okay, yeah.
Whitney's villainry. So maybe not. Okay. Do you want any updated odds on Henry and Whitney fucking?
I mean, haven't we slashed that? Are we still?
They haven't yet.
So Vegas is still doing odds.
Yeah. Episode. Now you
Okay.
have to pick the episode. What episode do you think you're
Oh,
going to give
okay.
him?
I would do. This is what, 4?
This is 4.
6. I'll do
Okay.
6.
Okay, that was me too. And finally, I'm going to give you a chance to update anything on Moritz. Do you think he's coming back? Do you think he's going to play a bigger part in the season?
I'm standing my ground. I'm standing my ground.
Fair.
I'm
All
standing my
right.
ground that
Let's see.
this is that no. This is we have bigger fish to fry. Okay, so before we wrap this now, lots of our listeners are going to be like, "Why didn't you guys talk about this? Whatever." I don't want to talk about it because I hate to see somebody else living my dream. But do you want to talk about Emilia being in this episode? Who is a
Actually,
creator I
gasp.
really do like?
Actually,
Yeah, I
gasp.
like her a lot, so this is nothing against her. I just like, why couldn't I'm like the Isaiah
Should
Thomas
have been
meme.
me.
Yes, I fulfilled all the qualifications.
It should have been me.
um, yeah, I mean, yes, I didn't actually know she was like I didn't know she was an industry fan.
Neither did I.
It's not something I knew about her. But yeah, there you go, listeners asking why we talk about Emilia. Yeah, I think we can pause it there and then get William in. What do you
Okay,
think?
let's do it.
You ready to talk about Rishi?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I'll guys, see you in a second with William Goodman. Okay, so we've got the pleasure of inviting William Goodman for this last section. He got to speak with Saga. Where's that? What platform is that?
That'll be on GQ probably by the time
Okay.
this episode goes up. So
Yeah. So I'll link it in the description. William, welcome back to the podcast.
guys, thanks for having me. Such a privilege as always to chat with you both.
Man, if you say so, I'll take your word for it.
Sure.
I do say so. What are you talking about, man?
So yeah, we thought we'll bring in William for this section to kind of discuss. Hopefully, we'll have you later on in the season for like a full-on discussion. But I think for this Rishi section, wanted to kind of it makes sense to get a third opinion because there's a lot to kind of digest in this section. So a quick run through of Rishi's episode. He's selling coke in back alleys to what I have termed as today's Roberts. That's Robert from.
That guy felt like he had a little bit more of an edge to him than
He
Robert
definitely
did.
has a bit more of an edge. He
Rob-
seemed like a prick, but he could be putting it on.
Roberts,
could be putting it on.
I think
Yeah.
we've all just fallen in love with Robert so much that we've forgotten that how he was in season 1. He
That's
was
true.
kind of.
He's a wild child in season 1.
Yeah, Rishi's basically a pimp. In all the connotations that includes, his son is losing his surname. He meets James Dyker at a gay bar, and he has the worst night of his life again. William, before I get to you, Ayo, if you watched a different show that wasn't industry and it had this, you wouldn't be watching that show, would you?
You know, I hate this kind of stuff.
Yes, because this is not. I was not my first thought. I was like, this is just not Ayo's like tastes at all.
Like kind of like you with the pregnancy storylines. I hate overdosing. I hate all this kind of stuff. It really pisses me off.
Meanwhile, so many of the shows I watch, this is like, I
This
watch
is when
all
they thrive.
Yes, I watch the shows that have gangs in their name and have. So like, I'm like, this is kind of. I was like, so yeah. What are your thoughts on like Rishi's story?
Rishi's arc. Honestly, it upset me. I think for me, and this might be a bit too dismissive, but I found the most interesting part of Rishi's arc in this episode when he's talking to the cow-in-law about his son. And it wasn't even him that I found interesting in that moment, but his mother-in-law's countenance. She was, it felt like she was open, forgiving, but like very, strict's not the word. She was also very, like she was sure that there was nothing he could do to get back into this child's life. And that really confused me because I was like, how are you're being nice to him, but you're like, nope, it's not going to happen.
Well, I mean, can you blame her? Like there's been some, and sorry to jump in here. There's been some allusions throughout the season that there is a kind of a general understanding that what happened with Diana was like very well publicized. Like Dyker talks about it, and this week, in episode 3, which I listened to you guys talk a little bit about, but candidly, I was on deadline and didn't finish that entire episode because
Yes,
I
That's
don't
that's
like to let other people's takes inform my writing.
mm-hmm.
So I can't wait to go back and listen to it. But um, the biggest thing is that the details of what happened to Diana seem to be like very well publicized at this point, and therefore I think Rishi's mother-in-law can look at the situation and understand that he did not pull the trigger that killed Diana, but
mm,
he set up all the indirect circumstances which made that possible. So I can understand a situation in which then she is like, "We wish you all the best, but with all due respect, we want nothing to do with you,
yeah,
and your lifestyle is not conducive in any way, shape, or form to raising a child. We, as Diana's parents, are now sort of the next of kin.
yeah.
We don't know a ton about Rishi's familial, like paternal,
Mm-hmm.
That's
maternal
fair. Yeah.
situation. We know more about Diana's just because of the wealth and affluence that she comes from.
Mm,
And so they are in a prime position, I think, to give Hugo a better life than Rishi ever could. And he's
Mm-hmm.
certainly not in a position to provide for Hugo in any way, shape, or form. Sagar gave me, I wish I had my transcript for this fully finished because he gave me an interesting answer about how he views his survival instincts and to how much Hugo
mm,
plays into that possibility. And so I don't want to misquote him, so I'll leave that for people to check in the piece. But it is something that is in part of the mental math of what he's thinking about.
mm.
But I think like it's absolutely that moment rings very, very true to me. That
It
I
it
think
does.
she can hope to have forgiveness for him, but from a larger, higher power. But as far as
Mm-hmm.
wanting him involved in her grandson's life, like that's just simply a non-starter.
That's fair, and that's. I wasn't confused at her being like not wanting him there at all.
Sure.
I was more confused that she could find any sort of forgiveness for him, and it reminded
Mm,
me a lot of um Knives Out,
okay.
which is
The,
where
the
like
third one.
the third one. Sorry,
Yeah.
Okay.
Dead Man. I forget the name.
Wake up,
Wake Up
dead
Dead
man.
Man. Yeah.
Wake of Dead Man. Yeah, but maybe I've not been paying attention, but I'd never seen this show take on religion and Christianity in that light, which is it felt very hopeful, and she felt so steady in saying, "Hey, you will still live in His grace, like regardless of all like the way you're acting doesn't make any sense, but he still has something there for you," which I just thought was very very interesting. The rest of what happens to Rishi in this episode felt very expected.
Okay. Yeah.
Do
So just
go,
quickly,
go
we're gonna get there very quickly now, but it's interesting that you mentioned Wake Up Dead Man because I actually read her like whole religious thing. I was very cynical of it, which is
Uh,
like a lot of Dead Man was. I was like, okay, you're someone who like this is what you think. Like I don't
you're
think that when
supposed to
she
say,
yeah, I don't think that when she's alone with her husband, she's saying those things. Like again, maybe this is just me being cynical of religious people and this kind of religious people. I think like so I was just like I was like, I don't actually believe that I think deep down I think you really do hate this person.
that's
And like
fair.
it's like, it's in this episode they say it, right? It's like, what does it just say? Something in the velvet glove. Like there's a lot of like poison in your words. And I'm
Yeah.
seeing that poison. And I don't actually believe that you are the real quote unquote religious person that has forgiven. But also we can use this again to the Daika piece. It seems like, I don't know, my interpretation was that the idea is that there was like a home invasion because it
Mhm.
seems like a random person was one that went down for this, right?
Yeah.
Um, so my dad was like a home invasion, which I've watched enough shows to know that like those stats don't line up. Like the door was opened, it wasn't broken into. She was sitting down on the table. Like if I was the one being the detective of this scene, I'd be like, this doesn't line up with the home invasion. But whatever. And I'm assuming like her mom knows a bit more than. I don't think it was actually a home invasion. Like, because obviously at this point, Diana and Rishi had broken up, so she probably had an idea of like what Rishi was being up to.
Yeah.
Um, but let's go into the last bit, which I thought this was Rishi's end. Like, from the moment he looks out the window, I was like, oh, okay,
Fair.
this is kind of thin. William, in your discussions with Saga and you're watching this episode, what were kind of the biggest thing that kind of struck you with this last 10 minutes of the episode? From the
So
club, from the pub to
I
the
want to
floor.
turn this question around because I think this informs my read of how I feel about the situation, and that like I candidly like I'm friendly with Sagar, so like I it's a little, but even if I wasn't, I feel that so much of his arc this season has been interesting to process in the sense that I don't know if the show is like actively trying to garner sympathy for where he is and what he's done, but I can't help but feel sympathetic or wanting some sort of good to happen to him in spite of how much of like an un I mean, everybody on the show shades of gray, right? But Rishi is like a certified asshole. Like there
Mm-hmm.
is, I mean, White Mischief absolutely proves that he is like, uh, you know, he
Incorrigible.
he's he's a tough hang. And but I think because of what has happened to him, which, yes, again, he has directly created a circumstance in which Diana was killed, but, like, again, he was not the person who pulled the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
I can't help but be sympathetic towards his situation. So I think what informs the last 10 minutes from my reading is knowing that there's going to be some sort of inevitable conclusion. The way in which that scene, which Sagar told me he and Charlie and, remind me who the director for this episode is again. I have it in my notes, but it's
Michelle
Michelle,
Saville.
yeah, Michelle Saville. They actually
Mm.
had time to go and rehearse this a little
Oh,
bit
nice.
beforehand, which is
Mm.
not something that they always have time to do. But
Yeah.
I think everybody involved understood kind of the significance of what that last scene meant. Mick and Khan were not available to be on set for that scene, but did look at dailies, and I think we're obviously happy with what they saw. But he said that having the ability to kind of walk through with that with Charlie and with Michelle to rehearse that a little bit really was helpful, I think, for how frenetic that feels. And a lot of that comes through in the edit, right? Like I don't think it was probably that crazy on set. I imagine it was a little manic, but the
Mm-hmm.
way in which it is shot, edited, performed is very reminiscent to me of the Alfred Molina sequence in Boogie Nights, where
Mm.
there's just this slow build with like the music going up and down and the guy from the bar in the background. He's not throwing firecrackers, but there is that extra textual element of just unease that's existing in the tension of the scene, basically. And so headed into it as this is not going to end well for anybody. Now, for us to go from where that scene starts to where it concludes and the forever young needle drop, which I'm still processing, I think a little bit, like what they're trying to say with that needle drop in particular. It's an interesting one, but it is, I think I wanted to, my initial gut reaction when he makes a jump was like, oh, he's going to land, he's going to survive, he's going to be fine. And this is one more way that Rishi's going to kind of get out of things. And then to have that end the way that it does, I was like, it was a little, it was very sad. Like, and I think that is supposed to be kind of where we are with it, is that his life was always going to, I think, head towards a conclusion that looked like this in shape, but that doesn't make the journey to get there like any less saddening
Yeah.
Mm.
or impactful. So that was that's a lot to kind of throw out in a very extensive sequence, but that was my main takeaway.
Yeah, I think you started your take by saying that the show was maybe trying or maybe not trying to garner some sympathy for him, but we do have some sympathy. I actually felt the opposite because all through his two appearances all this season, I thought, okay, he had kind of like not fixed himself up, but like he wasn't in that world anymore. Like the
Mhm.
horrors of the diner and everything had kind of like scared him straight, for lack of a
Mm-hmm.
better term. So when this scene or when his story, this episode starts with him selling drugs and him coercing this sexual acts from this very young woman, like I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm not meant to feel sorry for him right now. Like he's doubling down. Like I'm like, okay. So uh, I, I guess this all by the time I was like, okay, this you're still in this pit, so this is all gonna happen. Like it's not a case of like you're trying to do better and then like the world keeps on pulling you down. It's like you've kind of stayed here. So
I want to push back on that slightly and say I think there's a difference between doing better and trying to survive. And I think so much of Rishi's mind state this season is survival. The conversation
Mm.
that he has with, and this is something we talked about, the conversation that he has with Harper in the very beginning, where he's like, I
Mm.
can't pass a cursory background check. Like, how, with not justifying this, but just asking the question, with all due respect, like, how else is Rishi supposed to make money? If he can't get a job,
He's
if
found
he can't
another
get a
sort of
back check,
economic function.
Yeah.
exactly. He is doing this kind of like bottom of the totem pole, not even bottom of the totem pole. Like when making Conrad, we're talking so much about the kind of uh, Michael Clayton element. When I first saw Rishi at the beginning of the season, it was like he is that Michael Clayton element. Like he has now become like a fixer of sorts, and
Mhm.
it's not exactly that one-to-one in terms of like he's solving people's problems, but he is living in that underworld, which the show has started to hint at a little bit more from the ending of season 3 moving forward, and that is the only place for him to exist at this point. So, like, do I valorize him, like, selling drugs? Absolutely not. Like, that relationship that he has with that girl is obviously, like, horrible and awful,
Mhm.
but at the same time, it's like, I don't condone it, but I understand it given where he is and how life has played out for him. This is the only ability that he has to then be able to find some sort of way to survive.
Uh, let's just do Dika very quickly, like 3 minutes.
Mhm. Mhm.
William, you've kind of seen ahead for your coverage, so I won't ask you this. Well, Ayo, Dika, still alive? Dead?
He he better be. He better be still alive. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be so upset.
My biggest reason for why he's alive is I don't know if we're ready to do a Rishi manslaughter arc. Like, so that's kind of my only reason for why he will probably make it. Daika was very interesting to me because I was like, because this episode starts with him as we've discussed in our
Yeah.
coverage already. But like, I figured like in a different show or movie, he might be the hero of the story.
Yeah.
Like he
Yeah.
might
Mhm.
be the guy who is
Yeah.
like going across the line. He's basically
He's
RTJ
the
in
white knight.
Zodiac.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, yeah, he's a good guy, but like he has troubles and he has addictions and things like that. He goes a bit too far sometimes, but like in the end, he makes it work, right? And I was like, oh, if he just dies, I was like, that's his industry. It's like, nah, fuck you. It's like, there's no white knight here, and I don't know. That was just something that struck me this
I would
episode. Like,
even prefer a heel turn. Like let him become a bad guy. Because, and I think this is something that I would have mentioned earlier in the episode, but I feel like this episode showed us how William says everybody's morally great, but I think everybody's morally black.
I mean,
think-
Kwabina's line of like, we are going
Yeah.
well into
Yeah.
black in Makaba
I think
Nation.
they're
Yeah.
all black in this episode. So I think the way they portrayed Lojimi Daika throughout this episode, it made it sweeter for me. I
Hmm.
really hope he survives this.
I can't say anything because I'm
Yeah.
gonna tip it one way or another, so I just won't say anything. The one thing that I do think is an interesting thing that the show has started to seed a little bit at this point are where the boundaries of things are, and kind of what the red lines of ethics, however you want to describe it, but basically where the boundaries of this world are. As our main characters have started to ascend in this world, we're starting to realize, I think, what ceilings they're running into. You know, for
Mm.
Harper, a lot of that was in the first episode, kind of understanding that she thought she was graduating into this world of power working for Mostyn, and then realizing that she has been stymied in that way. And then I think finding a way for her to break free and create something for herself. I think even Yasmin in this episode, something you guys talked a little bit about in last week's episode and the discussion I did listen to, is that I think Yasmin has always been very, very, very good at, I think, bringing people together in machinations that I think would not humble, but like make Littlefinger smirk, in terms of her ability, I think, to coordinate and micromanage situations and bring people together for advantageous situations puts her closer into something like Game of Thrones than it does like
Yeah.
a Pearpoint situation.
Yeah.
And so I think people are
Marketing is so
learning.
smart a choice for her
It's
from the show.
super smart. Well,
She's
and
a
then also too, I
producer.
think she has a great ability to matchmake ostensibly.
Mm.
And so it's interesting to see kind of like how far they're able to get in this world.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's kind of a good place to kind of wrap the entire episode. William, thank you very much for helicoptering in for this Rishi section. Um, like I said, I'm sure you'll be back later this season to discuss it with us. I will link your two. You also spoke with Max Minghella, didn't you?
I did, yeah. So
Yeah.
spoke with Max for Men's Health, and then spoke with Sagar for GQ. We'll hopefully have a couple more interviews coming throughout the season. I know I have at least one more confirmed around the finale. But yeah, those are my two big ones so far.
Okay, so yeah, I'll link both in the description. Guys, thank you very much for listening. Thank you to William Goodman. Thank you to Eyo. And yeah, join us next week when we'll be covering more of the industry and we'll be hoping to survive more rungs of hell. And yeah, speak later. Bye, guys. See you next week with Daniel Kaluuya.